Wow, those desserts look very appealing. I'm a fat kid at heart when it comes to cakes, and I wish I would have been there. Up next, we have the Cake Diva and her chocolate gift box cake. Let's take a look. Today at Neighborhood Chefs, we are here with the Cake Diva. How are you?
I'm fine, girl. How are you? Are you ready?
I'm ready. I'm excited. What are you making for us today?
All right. Well, what I'm gonna make is it's a banana cake, and it has it's gonna have chocolate mud cloth fondant on it, and it's gonna look like a gift box when I finish. That's the idea, right?
Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Oh well. I've been Cake Diva for over 27 years. CakeDiva.com, in case you really want to know. I've done cakes for all my children, One Life to Live. I've been on the Food Network 3 times. I've done We Television's Cake Wars. I've done CBS, NBC, ABC, WB, ad nauseum.
Wow.
So.
I'm excited. Let's get started.
Okay, so the first thing to do is get all your stuff together. And here we have some buttercream that's going to be the filling and the outside right before we put the chocolate fondant on. Here's the cake. Doesn't have to be that big to get the point across. But what we're going to do is we're going to level it. So you need a serrated knife, which is a bread knife. You need to cut it as straight as possible. This is a spice cake. Okay, and I decided to do spice cakes because when we were brought over on the ship, they also imported spices as well. So there we have that. So we turn it upside down, and we can put it on the plate that it's going to be served from. Kind of needs to be a little perfect so that there aren't any crumbs and stuff that get in the way. You can split it and fill it if you want, why don't we just do that?
It smells delicious.
Yeah, it is. Be careful with your knife. You don't want to see any other colors than what you're working with. Okay, so in order to know where we're going to set it back up, I usually put a stripe there so that I can match it up after I put the filling in. The filling can actually be whatever you like it to be. It's still a little warm. That's because it's fresh. And I'm going to put this in the middle. Okay. And then spread it around. It's good to have a small angled spatula if you're working on a small cake. To get all the details. Okay. Then once I get the filling in, I'm going to roll out the chocolate fondant to cover it so that it will then look like a chocolate block. So at that point the canvas will be ready to decorate on. That's how I look at it. I don't necessarily look at cake as cakes. I look at them as pieces, works of art. That's how I look at it.
Well, from what I saw, it's exactly what you make.
Well,
it's
amazing. Why, Mama? Okay. All right. So I matched it back up, and now I'm going to spread the buttercream. And so we are spreading a thin layer of buttercream on the cake so that the fondant will stick once we roll it out. Now, chocolate fondant is a little different than regular fondant in that you may need a little bit of oil or shortening down before you roll it out instead of cornstarch, which we would use for the white fondant. So this does not have to be perfect because it's not going to be seen. That's important to remember. You can actually do this probably in about 15 minutes, the whole total decoration of it, once you have everything together. So if you're in a rush for time before the party starts, that's about how long it will take. Okay. How do we make our buttercream? Yep, buttercream and sugar. Okay, and then you can add your flavorings depending on what you think your guests would like. But it's important, like if you did a carrot cake or something, to make sure that no one's allergic to nuts.
Right.
You know the story. Or have them sign off on it before they take the cake. Seriously.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
So the next step is going to be to roll the fondant out. Okay, you need a clean board, a nice big roller. Okay, so you need this until you don't see any lines anymore. That would be the perfect scenario. We don't have shortening, maybe we can use a little bit of buttercream. How about that? Okay.
And what's that for?
So that it stays moist and the chocolate fondant doesn't crack. Because I'm feeling that it needs to be a little more moist.
Smells really good.
So the warmness of your hands should help to melt the chocolate a little bit. So that helps. It shouldn't be too hot or too cold. That's important to know when you're working with chocolate. Okay, see that sheen right there? That's going to help this chocolate fondant not stick. Okay, so all I have to do is roll it out. Make sure it's bigger than the cake you're going to put it on. Okay, flip it, roll it out this way.
Looks really good.
'Cause it is. Baby. You can have it, Black History Month. You can have it all month if you want. Anytime you do something Afrocentric. Sounds like a really good idea to me.
Martin Luther King.
Yeah, Martin Luther King.
That
Okay.
looks good.
But it's always, because once you put it on the cake, it's like you have one chance to dance, baby. You got to get it right the first time, because there's no second time. It's not exactly a cheap cake to make because of the cost of the chocolate, which is like the best chocolate. You have to use the best of everything because what you put in is what you're going to get out.
That's true.
I remember rolling out a piece twice as big as this table.
Oh my God.
That was horrifying for a gigantic burger cake for Wendy's.
Wow.
For Dave Thomas himself, Rory. That took about an hour and a half. Okay.
It's a lot of material. A lot of roller.
So can I have some paper towel?
Sure.
You have to make sure all your edges are clean before you cover the cake. Because what you don't use, you don't want to have crumbs in it. If you don't do this, you're going to have crumbs. Then you won't be able to use the fondant because it has crumbs in it. That's horrifying. Okay. Make sure it's as smooth as it can get. Some people have sheeters to do this. Unfortunately, my whole life, this is all I've ever had. Okay. Let's hope it doesn't stick. Okay. Looks like leather, right? You can make purses out of this too, to eat, of course. Okay. Then you put it on. here carefully. Okay, then drape it down. On the corners you go up. As opposed to a round cake, you just smooth it all the way down. But on this, you just, okay. And now it's about ready to be the canvas that we're going to decorate. Okay, looks easy enough, right? Hello. It's not rocket science, you know what I'm saying? It's not rocket science. So usually you would have a pizza cutter to cut this so you wouldn't drag the fondant around. But because we don't, let's work with what we have. Okay, almost off. Alrighty, you can also make African mask out of this fondant as well, which is really, really cool.
That's amazing.
Okay, let's make sure all the edges are as perfect as we can make them. Okay, that didn't take that long, right?
It's because you did it.
No, no.
Just rolling it out was probably the most difficult part.
Pretty much. See, and this is good to use for another time. Okay, well, but the longer you let it set out, the longer when it sets out, it dries up and becomes like white fondant. It becomes like this.
Wow.
So I found that out when I was doing a wedding cake, and it made me so tired, and I passed out. And when I woke up, the stuff was hard. I'm like, wait a minute, I can make this with it. Okay.
That's smart.
Okay. So the next thing is to take one of these decorating bags. This is called the coupler. Okay. You take the coupler for your tip. Put this down in it. Take it to the end. Get this hat being straight to the end. Move it back a little bit. Cut it off. Take your tip, decorating tip, put it on here. Put this on. Screw it on. Tighten it up. It's very important to tighten it up. Put it in the bag. Can't get any more simpler than that. Well, it could if it was already done. But so, these are for the dots and the lines. Okay, tighten it up all the way down as far as you can. Making sure your hands stay clean as much as possible. Okay, and with this one, we're going to put buttercream in it. And we're going to, if you don't have tips, you can cut your own tip. So that lessens the expense of having to have to buy a tip, depending on how your funds are running. You know, unfortunately, this is not a cheap hobby.
Yeah.
So that's why it's not a hobby for me. It started out that way in the beginning, but I'm like, wait a minute, I just spent $4,000 in a month at the cake decorating store. I got to get my money back. And that's what happened. That's how it started. Bring this all the way down. It's gonna be cut because, see that mud cloth there? You can bring that over. We're going to be using this. Because you set it right there. Okay. We're going to be using that as the pattern that we're going to follow. Let's hope everything works okay. All right. We make the line here. It's okay because this is buttercream. A lot of times we use royal icing. So if a little kid comes along and does their finger like that, it's not moving anywhere. I had to use royal icing in the soap operas all the time. The actors would come and put their fingers through it. I had to be on cake watch for like 12 hours. Okay. We can do this over here. Over here. The mud cloth, it doesn't have to be totally centered. It's pretty simple. We call it duplicating fabric and icing. So a lot of the stuff that I do is like way more advanced than this. But we also have beginners classes and stuff. And we're going to have one coming up on March 3rd, I believe. That is African textile class and icing. See how cutting that makes it flatter than the other one? It's pretty simple, right?
It's not bad at all. It's beautiful, and you get to eat it afterwards. It's awesome.
That's what little kids say.
That is awesome. I'm a big kid.
It takes a little patience, but if you knit, you have the dexterity and the patience to deal with it. If you crochet, same thing, needle point, all that. You can't be stressed out. You can't have screaming babies. Unless they're helping. That's a whole nother talk show.
You keep them busy that way.
Yeah. Who's mentioned anything about child labor laws? I didn't. Okay. So, listen, you need all the help you can get sometimes. I remember doing some stuff for, it was Noah and Julia's wedding on all my children, and I had to take everything in half done. And I'm like, you know what? I really needed help with these cakes. I had the actors actually help me do the cake.
Oh, wow.
I'm like, why not?
Put them to work.
Yup, right?
They don't want to eat it later. They better help you out.
I'm saying. And then Mark Consuelo started playing with the food coloring. I'm like, you need gloves with that? You can't really get that off your hand. He was like, for real? I'm like, telling you. Okay. Sometimes you can improvise. And here is this one. It's pretty simple, right? Make it real easy. This is similar to the design I did on the cake from this book that was the African American wedding planner called Jumping the Broom. That sold over 8 million copies.
Wow.
I think that was the first time people really saw edible gold on a cake.
Oh.
Yeah, that's pretty expensive.
What does it taste like?
It's a dust, you know, so it has no taste.
Oh, okay.
Just like the edible glitter that's out now, it has no taste. So there that is. So the cake is ready to put the bows on it. Almost. I have to put the sides on it next. Pretty easy. You got to make sure buttercream and fondant, when it's not intended to be together, it doesn't work well together. Just like fondant and water, it's like the Wicked Witch. It can melt. It's bad news. Okay, so we're gonna put ropes on it like it is a gift box.
Okay.
Okay. Remember how you did this in elementary school, like your little snake class when you had your clay class? This is actually kind of like clay.
I was thinking that earlier when you were laying it on there.
Yeah. The only problem is if you're teaching children, it's sugar. And they won't be sleeping for the whole week, so forget about that. That's not going to happen. If you put cornstarch in it, it would dry out really quick. But if you put something else in it called Tylose, it would dry out like in about an hour. You could use it. Tylose is a substance that's from South Africa. This lady developed it for fondant. To make the fondant a little bit more stiffer. In case you wanted to make flowers, you could. This is the same thing you saw, the flowers and stuff are made out of. And okay. So now to get these brown, what we'll do is take a brush and some cocoa. It's real simple. Put it in there. Dust it.
Wow, look at that. It really is like art. It's crazy. That's
No. And then we can stick it on the cake. And then we're going to bring the bows and put them on here and do the same thing. Okay. Okay. Need to cut that off. Okay. Dust it a little bit while it's on there too. Like so. Help me put these on this right here.
Sure.
And then we can dust that. You can dust it with cocoa or airbrush it, but a lot of reasons why people dust it is because, believe it or not, it's less messier than airbrushing. Say you airbrush and you didn't, put your papers and stuff around to just get it where it's supposed to go. Things will start turning up brown you never thought would be brown. That's messed up when you do the wash. I remember doing an 8-foot tall cake that was all burgundy and dusted everything. I mean, even, your tongue was burgundy after you finished. That was a nightmare. Everything was burgundy for like 2 weeks after that. And so what we're going to do with the big bows, we're going to start with the big bows up in the middle of it and then expound with all of the rest of them as they get smaller and smaller near the ends. But if you want to dust those, people can see how pathetically easy it is.
Well, as far as making the bows, you just twist them and attach
Just
them.
like the way I did those, it's the same way. And the toothpicks help you just stick it in. It's real simple.
It's fun. I can see why you started off with this as a hobby.
Yeah, at first, at first.
What made you want to, how did you even find out about making art like that? Did you just start off making regular cakes and decide you want to get creative? Or what?
Well, I saw what people were doing, and I said, I don't want to do it like that. I want to do it totally different. I took a Wilton class on what to do, what people were teaching, so I would know what not to do. I'm like, how you gonna make money doing what everybody else does? It's not that so. That's what happened.
That's the truth, though.
I know.
The same thing.
Hello. You're going to put all of them on now, so don't get cheap with that. Now with this, I can make cowrie shells. Okay. The same thing we use.
Oh.
It's the same thing. It has a little brown in it, and that's good because shells have brown in them. So I can take a knife or just a regular knife, you know, to get the ridges and stuff too. And there you have your cowrie shell.
That is cute.
And you can maybe use that like for borders.
Mm-hmm.
You can maybe do like 2 at once. That helps. Okay.
I don't know if I can. I'm not as skilled as you. I'm gonna start with one.
Listen, by the time you finish, you will be because you're like, oh, how long is this taking?
Hurry up.
You can get caught up and be doing this all night long. You just don't want to know. You think you do, but you don't. No, you can put them anywhere else if you like. Okay, I'd say we're pretty much, I think we're done. It's time to cut it off! Okay, so we're going to cut this so you can see your banana cake with the buttercream filling. Oh, why do I need to see that? You need to see that. Yummy. Oh, yeah, baby. Cut it, cut it. That's right. Cut it so you can get another one. There you go. Mm-hmm. Alrighty. Nice little piece right there. Alright. And dig it out.
So good.
Yes. Yummy. Just, and you can put these in each piece if you want to, so that when people eat it, you know it's actually all edible. So.
I don't know which one to start from.
All the same.
I know. I'll take this little over here.
Pin drop silence.
Oh my God.
I hope that's a good thing. Yum, yum, yum.
Oh my God, that is delicious.
And see, that tart tastes like marshmallow, like a toasted marshmallow with a little cocoa on it. See?
That was very good.
Told ya.
I almost feel bad eating it because it was so beautiful, but it's
Don't feel
worth it.
bad.
It's delicious.
Don't feel bad. Just get me on to do some more, okay?
Thank you so much for showing us how to make this beautiful cake.
Oh, you're so welcome. Help yourself.
Wow, that cake was equally as delicious as it was beautiful. And the cake diva herself was very sweet, energetic, and a true pleasure to work with. If you'd like to know more about our chefs and their recipes, log on to www.ibchannel.tv/neighborhoodchefs. Think you can get down in the kitchen? Email us at neighborhoodchefs@ibchannel.tv. Well, that's all the time we have left for today. So until next time, I'm Ariana, and we hope to see you in the neighborhood.